Before we start this video, I do want to just drop in here with a quick spoiler alert. We are going to be going over some theories regarding the identity of the Chainsaw Devil, or Pochita, in the Chainsaw Man manga. We will be going over light stories and thematic stuff up to the most recent chapter of the manga. So if you're not caught up, or if you, well, I suppose if you don't care about spoilers, go right ahead. But I would urge you to catch up before you go any further here. Maybe check out another one of my videos if you have to leave. In any case, with all that being said, let's just jump right into it. If you have been paying attention at all in the anime and manga community for the past few years, you have definitely seen some of the hype for Chainsaw Man. It's only had one season of the anime so far, but it came in with a splash to the scene and has been making waves with its manga since its original release. Tatsuya Fujimoto's incredible art and great story featuring Denji, a boy who is down on his luck in just about every conceivable way, making a contract with a devil. The Chainsaw Devil, to be specific, and going on to fight a bunch of other devils who continue to terrorize humanity. It has long been established within the world of Chainsaw Man that the fear that humans have for the devil is directly correlated to the amount of power that they have. That's how we end up with things like the primal fears, and like the Four Horsemen. They are things that almost all of humanity fears ubiquitously and for all of history, and so they are some of the most powerful threats to the world in general. Things like the Gun Devil as well, though recent inventions in the grand scheme of things, are weapons of mass destruction, and therefore command a lot of fear in the hearts of people around the world. Thus, you end up with these massive, crazy skilled villains who Chainsaw Man goes up against. But still mysterious to us up to this point is why Chainsaw Man in particular is so powerful. You wouldn't really think the Chainsaw Devil would command all that much fear. Like, it's a chainsaw. Yeah, sure, it can do some damage, and I guess things like Texas Chainsaw Massacre could boost its numbers a little bit, but it certainly shouldn't be going to toe-to-toe with things like guns or any of the Four Horsemen. There have been a lot of theories about why this might be that have been going around in the community for a very, very long time. Of course, none of them confirmed, but there are a few of them that I think really merit another look. One thing that could be happening is that Chainsaw Man derives its power not only from humans, but also from devils. Being that Chainsaw Man is one of the only things, the Chainsaw Man's ability to consume devils and erase them from existence, both in the past and in the future, completely wiping them from people's memories, is truly a formidable power. One of the only ways that devils can truly die, since when they die under conventional methods, they simply return to a cycle where they will eventually come back in some form or another. Erasing them from the minds of people is one of the only ways for them to truly disappear. Nuclear weapons is one of the foremost examples of this. And in recent chapters, things have been going on as well that, cause some questions to come up around the mechanics of that. But in any case, it's possible that fear of being forgotten could be part of it. Though that doesn't explain why chainsaws in particular are part of this. Another theory that has come up more recently, I haven't been able to track it back exactly to its source. I would love to find out if someone knew exactly who it is. I found a couple of Reddit posts that seem to reference previous theories. A couple of things on Twitter is where I originally saw it, but I haven't been able to track it back to its source. So I'd love if someone in the comments could do that. Don't want to outsource my work, but I'd love to credit someone with coming up with a theory if there is someone to credit. If someone posts something down here that I can corroborate, I will go ahead and pin the comment. But the other theory that I've seen more recently that I really, really believe has some merit is the idea that Chainsaw Man has something to do with birth, with childbirth. A fun fact that not everybody knows is that chainsaws were originally invented in 1780 to aid in childbirth. Before C-sections were a thing, they invented like a hand-cranked chainsaw to cut through parts of women's pelvic bones during childbirth in order to make it easier for the child to pass through. Kind of a horrifying ordeal. And so with that being their origin, with that being the entire origin of chainsaws in general, it lends credence to the thought that maybe Pochita isn't actually the chainsaw devil specifically, but maybe the childbirth devil. Though I don't know if it's entirely a switch or if it's just another addition to the fear that people could have over chainsaws. Some have theorized that that actually is the origin of the ability that Pochita has to consume things. That Chainsaw Man, being the either birth or perhaps even life devil, is consuming things and theoretically unbirthing them, making it so they were never born as concepts. As it's seen that many other devils have similar kind of more metaphysical attributions to their power. Like the falling devil isn't necessarily just falling in a physical sense, but also falling in like a mental sense, into a depressive state, things like that. There's a lot more that goes on with these things that get lumped in with the powers in a much more vague way. Additionally, lending more to the theory of Pochita at least having something to do with birth is the transformation that Denji goes through when transforming into full chainsaw devil. His guts spill out and wrap around his neck in like an intestine scarf, which is really a very cool and disgusting transformation. Really gotta hand it to Fujimoto there. It is an awesome transformation and truly disgusting. But the intestines coming out from Denji's stomach and wrapping around his neck lend a lot visually to an umbilical cord. Unfortunately, one of the more common ways for children to be stillborn is them being choked by their own umbilical cord. And so there's even more symbolism there. Additionally, not exactly by way of direct evidence for this, but the idea of motherhood seems to be taking a front-facing role in the story, especially in the more recent chapters with Yoru, speaking about the other devils who she considers to be her children and her complete ownership and use of them. Over and over in the story, Denji is defined by his relationships with the women around him. Of course, there are other characters, but most often, the most impactful people in Denji's life are the women around him, being Power and Makima, Nayuta after the time skip, Asa, and of course, Yoru, but he didn't know anything about Yoru. That's just another thing that's going on. And Kobeni, of course, who can forget about Kobeni? Though, oh crap, I forgot Riz. Riz, of course Riz. But it's always the women in Denji's life that have the most impact on him. And seeing as the story is starting to put this idea of motherhood in the forefront now, is very interesting, and I'm very much looking forward to where it goes. I don't know if any of this really means anything, or if it's going to turn out to be completely debunked in the future. But it's certainly interesting to think about, because the evidence continues to pile up, and the, maybe coincidental parallels in the theme of the story that we're seeing now with Yoru and her children, the gun, and whatever the other devils that she made her arm was. So it'll be certainly interesting to see what happens going forwards. Feel free to add to these examples of connections that the Chainsaw Devil could have to childbirth, or even any other theories that you might have down in the comments. I would love to read through them and see what you guys think about it. There's a lot of symbolism in Chainsaw Man. Of course, this is nothing to say about the symbolism regarding the image that the United States has in Chainsaw Man, because that is grotesque and very poignant. But I will be going through the comments. I'd love to see what you guys have to say about this or any other theory regarding Chainsaw Man. Thanks for sticking around and listening to this ramble about theories and the true identity of the Chainsaw Devil, and I hope to see you guys all in 2 weeks when I come back with another one of these. Bye!